Hello everyone and welcome to episode 2 of Mike Plays RP1 Redux. In the previous episode, you'll see a link to it up here. Built a little sounding rocket and made it up to the Kármán line, fulfilled a couple of contracts, and with the time that was left in that episode, got started building this V2 number 1, and it flew for a while until the fins broke off and it lost control and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, an encouraging start nonetheless. We got a lot of stuff still to do because completing that Kármán line contract got me some more applicants, so I gotta hire them and decide where they're going to work. This thing is going to require another launch complex because my current launch complex could only handle rockets up to a ton, and this guy's just tapping out over 15 tons. As well, yeah, I got some leaders as well to hire, get into the administrative building and all that kind of stuff. But I think what I'm going to do before I do all this is sort of get this thing going, because there's some contracts that this would do, and it's going to take some time to build. In fact, let's get out of here and get into mission control and get that contract I was thinking about. So it's under the suborbital rocket research. This first low space film return, I think, is what this guy's kind of designed for. So let's just take a quick look at the contract here. I got to get to 100 kilometers in altitude, but 200 kilometers downrange as well. So it's gonna have to, well, you get the picture from that. And then I got to recover the film camera because it literally is, this is 1951. It is a film camera. There's nothing digital, nothing can be transmitted. They have to get the film back. So we're going to have to recover this thing. We have to have sufficient avionics for the first 50 seconds of the flight. Do not lose control and reach the altitudes as current. And then this will also get us some science. So I'm going to grab this. And what's lovely about these contracts, unlike the stock game, is there's no penalty for canceling it. So if all of a sudden I'd rather do something else than this, but this will put it into the vehicle assembly building, and I can take a look at the contract here so I can make sure, keep an eye on these parameters. So there we go. We also have these altitude and speed records. Maybe we'll do them, maybe we won't. I don't know, but we'll see. But this is the one we're interested in. So, yeah, let's sort of keep going with this. Now, yeah, I got to make this thing something that recover. Now, one thing that was recommended, and I kind of understand where this person is coming from, is this was recommended by a YouTube comment, was to change the shape of the avionics and to be a cylinder, and then to just put a blank nose cone on the top, and then that avionics will be, later on we can modify the nose cone at a pretty minimal cost because it won't be avionics, because at some point we're going to be putting on a second stage on this guy, probably integrating our sounding rocket with this to go for a 3,000 kilometer downrange contract. So we're going to change the shape of this just to a cylinder. Let's see, so it's just a regular cylinder right here, 1.25 meters in diameter. We do want to have a controllable mass of about 20 tons. This thing is over 15 already. And I want to have probably, I guess for now, about 100 units of electric charge. We might end up modifying that in some future thing, and then I'm going to apply and resize it to fit, and it's going to be whatever length it's going to be. So there it is. That's the avionics component of this. And what I'm going to do, that's the root part. So we're going to put this on top, and now we're going to fashion a nose cone for this guy. And the nose cone, I just noticed this. Someone is saying, isn't there structural parts? There are. There's a structural procedural part. Works the same way as the tank, but we're going to make the nose cone out of this. It's going to be out of just regular... Do I have choices of materials? I would think I do. I guess I don't. So it's just steel. I would assume it'd be just steel. Probably doesn't need to be particularly strong. 0.3 is as low as it goes. Okay, so we're going to make this a smooth cone. Smooth cone, bottom 1.25, top is going to be 0, and we will just increase the length of this. Now, oh no, I don't want to make it a smooth cone. What am I thinking about? Because that's a solid chunk of metal on the top. It can be just hollow, a hollow cone. Do I have a hollow smooth cone? Got the fillet. Hollow fillet cylinder. That shape. Okay, so it is going to be a hollow cone. Alright, and top again is going to be 0. This is going to make it pointy. Now I'm not so sure. I'm a big fan. That's going to be 0 like that. Outer. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. I was hoping to make it smooth. Ah, shoot. Oh well. It is what it is. So it's going to be like a witch's hat on the top. Length. But this will save mass too. No, I don't know if I'm a fan. Let's just make sure there isn't another option, but I don't think there is. So hollow fillet, but I can't do the top. It's got to be hollow. This is truss structure. Then there's cylinder, there's cone, but that'll be solid. Smooth cone. One of these is not a hollow option. No. Nope. Okay. Hollow cone it is. Okay, and then we want to change the thickness of this. So you can't see it, but the inner diameter, well, the what do we got here? Top diameters. The outer has to be, I guess I won't let it go down below 10. Okay, whatever. But the bottom diameter is 1.25. The inner is 0, which means it's solid. That makes sense. Yeah, so I don't want that. Now it makes sense. So I want to increase it to 1.25, but then I want to decrease it. Now, what I did last time, I actually put it to 1.15. Well, that's in meters. Okay, so that would be, there we go. That is 2 millimeters thick. I think that's fine. All of a sudden, I made it 10 millimeters thick. That's actually pretty thick steel when I built the cowling on the bottom. Yeah, this one too, make it 2 millimeters thick. That to me, and if that ends up not going well, well, it doesn't go well. All right, witch's hat at the top. I also want to use that conventional structure to rebuild this cowling thing that I have here on the bottom. So I'm going to take this, put it on the bottom. There we go. And I'm just going to copy these dimensions. So there and there. So this is again a hollow cone. Yep. It is 1.5 millimeters on the bottom or the top. I guess it is on the outside. On the inside, again, I'm going to make it 2 millimeters thick of steel. I think that should be fine. The outer is 1.25. That's right. And again, I'm going to make it 2 millimeters thick. And the length is 2.5. There we go. So there is a nice, take that off. I'm going to take that off. I'm going to put this onto here. Now, are there things, because I had issues with fuel flow. I'm just looking. There aren't options to, I don't think so. I was looking for options to enable fuel to flow through it or something like that. I don't see anything like that. So we're just going to take this one. We're going to throw it away. We're going to take, so that, because I had issues because the engine has to be attached to the tank for this to work. And I was wondering if there was a way to make it work better, but nope. Just turning the snap off, sliding this up. So, just making it so there's 0 gap there. Alright. That works pretty good. And the other thing I need to do is make this something that can detach and be recovered. So for that, I'm going to need a parachute. Now, I do have... Here, let's... Might look better with some sort of procedural chute on the top rather than... Because I do have... Let's just take a look at some of these. There's the stock ones, but I think that guy is a procedural parachute, is it not? It's not. I'm pretty sure I have a procedural. Maybe this one? No. These guys are the... Yeah, that's the stock ones. Oh, there's a parachute editor. Maybe I'm just missing it. Parachute editor. There we go. I'm wondering if I'm better off just with this on the top rather than... Can I adjust the size? I always thought I could. Oh, here we go. Yes, see, I can make this different sizes. I might just go... Rather than win the witch's hat... Why don't we give this a go? Throw that away. Not sure I'm a fan. I think I might like the witch's hat better. Okay, so what we're going to do instead is we're going to put this guy under the witch's hat. And we got to modify this. So what you want to do is take only what's going to be the payload. I'm going to keep the avionics because I figure that's worth recovering. We're going to open up the parachute editor. Let's get rid of our contracts window just to sort of... Okay, and what you want to do, the size is good, so we're going to keep it that way. We're going to keep it as a main. You can change the chute textures, and the model's going to be a single chute. Change material. We'll test this in a little bit. Now, you can change the material. And the materials affect the drag of the chute. It also affects the mass of the whole thing. This is more solid, so I got nylon, I got silk, which is lightweight, easily ripped, but cheap. Essentially for all your death trap concepts. But it is, I think, pretty light. This is not going to be a particularly heavy thing, right? Well, 745 kilograms. It's not super light. Those avionics carry a lot of weight. Remember, there's all 1950s technology packed into there. And then there's nylon, and then there's Kevlar. We're not going to go with that. Let's keep it on the default nylon for now. Must go down to deploy. That I'll keep that as true. Deploy on ground contact. No, I don't know why I'd want that. And then you can adjust timers, number of chutes. There are spare, I think, spare chutes. We'll have one spare chute. It's not like we're bringing down astronauts with this. So it's going to be a single main chute. Calculations are automatic. This is what you want to do. So wanted touchdown speed, we'll keep it as the default. But you can hear it will calculate. Let me just get this all right. Altitude deployments, we'll keep those on the defaults. There is no secondary chute, I don't think. But you can get this all right. You can get it to, yeah, you can input what the mass of their payload is going to be, or you can use the current mass. And what it'll do, it will adjust the parameters of the parachute to match the current payload. I think all I got to do is hit apply settings. I think that's it. So you won't have more parachute than what you need, which is good. The application of the parameters has succeeded. Okay, close. So that's good. But that's why I took this part off, because you don't want the parachute to be set to, you know, bring all this home. This is going to be discarded. Now, it should have a decoupler somewhere. We have a ring decoupler. We have the TD-06 decoupler. We have a procedural decoupler. I'm assuming this is a procedural part. It is. So I have this guy. I should just actually take a look at what them. It's in 1.25, of course. I could just come on, there we go. So there's this guy that brings the total mass of the thing to 738 kilograms. I want to go obviously with my lightest option, and then there's this one. Make it a little thinner too. And that is much heavier, so I think I'll go with the ring decoupler. Put that in there, that goes there. Okay, so that now is something that should deploy. Hopefully. I also, let's see, let's check our staging. That's good, that's good, that's good. Yeah, okay. The fins tore off, but it might have been my aggressive flying more than anything else. It certainly didn't have any kind of control, but what I think I'll do is just increase this mass multiplier just a little bit. It definitely was easily controllable, so that wasn't an issue. I do want to play with, well, actually no, let's go with this. Let's go with this for now. I want to play with the launch system too. I don't like just using the stock launch clamps, but we'll go with what we got now. Let's simulate this. And we'll take a look at our contract. We'll make sure that we can satisfy it, because I got a feeling this thing can do pretty good. All right, so here we are. Let's take a look at our contract. There's that. And I also want to take a look at MechJeb and get my head wrapped around using MechJeb to deal with the ascent again. So we're going to open up our ascent guidance. And there's our ascent guidance. We can use the classic profile. Stop coming down like that, you stinker. Okay. There's also the prime vector RS. This is what you need definitely to get into orbit. I think this is more for getting. I think I'm going to stick with the classic. Classic is built for stock. This is built for real, as it says here, real solar system realism overhaul. But okay, we can turn off some of this stuff and just look at it one thing at a time. Target apoapsis is 0 kilometers. Target periapsis 100 kilometers. It's not going to get to that. I do have a target apoapsis. Let's see if I can just use this. Let's see how it works. I got to be above 100. So let's make our target apoapsis 110. Our target periapsis, like, seriously don't care. I make that 0. Like, it's going to be suborbital. Attach altitude. I don't know what that means. Orbit inclination is current. We are at a latitude of 28.55 degrees, so we definitely can't go into an equatorial orbit. That's not an option. We can do a launch countdown. Sure. Why not see how that works? Okay, and then what's under guidance then? Booster pitch start at 50 meters per second. Sure. Pitch rate 0.5 degrees per second. I'm just kind of curious what this is going to do. So you can get it to pitch over less quickly. There's a max Q thingy. PVG after. I don't know what that means either. Fixed cost. Okay, we're going to leave that. Options. Prevent engine overheat. Okay, I think no, I don't want it to auto stage. I want to be in control of the staging. All the rest of that doesn't matter. And finally, in this one, Not much to adjust, so we're just going to leave it. So I'm just going to keep it like this. Let's engage the autopilot. I'm just really curious what it's going to do. I do not have a lot of experience with MechJeb. I noticed it throttled up. Do I have to hit the space bar? Alright, let's see what it does. Let's see what it does. So I believe 50 meters per second it should start pitching over. Which it's doing. It's going to do a much more controlled ascent than what I'm going to do manually. I have done this with KOS too. And what I might do is still get KOS to handle the countdown and stuff like that, because I kind of like all that part of it. But I think it's pitching over far too aggressively. But I can adjust that right here, right? Maybe set the target area axis at a negative number. That's not a bad idea. I wonder if it'll take that. Remember, we do have to go downrange, and MechJeb can measure that for me. Oh no, it's measuring it for me right here. There's my downrange number here, so I can watch that on the contract. It's nice about keeping the contract handy. Honest, it might not be pitching over enough, to be quite frank. Oh, we're starting to pitch down. Look at that. That really aggressive down, going for the downrange, because our apoapsis is very high. Keeping that apoapsis down, but oh, there we go. We're out. I kind of liked it doing that. That was cool. So our apoapsis is over 130 kilometers. It is decreasing. Let's actually, can I lock you? Let's disengage the autopilot. Lock it to prograde. This is again something. Oh, I have no attitude control. Silly Billy. So that doesn't matter. There's no attitude control. The only attitude control is the vectoring in the motor. The motor is off, so I have no attitude control. But we're still going to clear the necessary apoapsis, and I think it's going to clear the necessary downrange too. It should be collecting science. Let's just check that. We did beat a speed record. Oh, we got telemetry reports. I'm going to keep testing this. Maybe this is the way to go. What science is it doing? Sorry, I'm not paying any attention. There we go. It is doing the planetary photography. So we're doing that. We did maintain control for at least 50 seconds. How's my electricity doing? I didn't even look at that. I only got 1 minute of electricity left, so I'll probably want to increase yeah. Well, we beat a speed record. That's cool. Yeah, we know the batteries are low, so I should probably stage this while I still can. So stage. There we go. That should also arm the parachutes. Might as well test the whole shebangy. We got our 200 kilometers downrange easy. Easy. There is a MechJeb thing that actually gives you even more downrange info. Where is that? Where is that? Yeah, we just ran out of electricity. So this thing is just a brick right now. So I definitely want to give it some more time. But meanwhile, let me look. Where is it? Is it? Flight recorder. That's it. That's it. Here you go. We're measuring our downrange here. We're 320 kilometers just about. There we go. Just past 320. This did good. This did good. I just want to test to see if the parachutes work okay. All right. I'm exceedingly pleased with that. Despite the witch's hat. I don't know. Not sure if I'm a fan of the witch's hat, though I completely understand why it's probably the better way to go. I just wish I could make that smooth. All right. I can't remember what the settings were. So look at that. We got getting over 400 kilometers downrange, and I've done no tweaking of it at all. Oh, that's our booster blowing up somewhere, isn't it? I think it was down there. So it's still alive at 6 minutes and 20 seconds. So I probably should put about 10 minutes of electricity in it. Some more electric charge is going to be in order. That went great. Over 450 meters, 450 kilometers downrange, but it is now pretty much just falling straight down, so I think I can just lose that. Obviously going to be dropping in the Atlantic. Let's see if we still are once we're through the clouds here. You can still see the... Oh, there goes our parachutes. Oh, we got 2. Oh, it is a rainy, dreary, cruddy day in the clouds. Can I see anything? Oh my god, we got some thick clouds. Thick, thick clouds. I don't think I'm going to touch any of this. There we go. Coming out of the bottom. We are out of sight of the coastline. We're out in the ocean. This looks great. Now, what would really happen, actually, in the real life, they did do this, and they would have to, you know, this is sensitive military photography. They would not let it splash down in the water. You would have a jet with a big hook on it, and it would fly by, cargo jet, and just kind of hook these parachutes and scoop it up, you know. This would be sensitive photography. Photographs. I think I'm good. Where are we now for time? We're over 10 minutes. I'd like this. Let's just keep going. So I had that apoapsis at 110. That's really the only change. Oh, and also I disengaged the auto staging. Okay. I'm still going to write a program for this. KOS one. Okay, so yeah, we'll give ourselves 15 minutes of electricity, but clearly this is a happy guy. Where is our cover? And let's revert back to the editor. Let's work this out. So that did the contract. Great. But what we need to do is kind of fix this up a little bit. So let's work on the launch system. I do want to have... there are so many different... Not that, of course, it worked fine, but there are so many different things here. We do have, like, some of these I think are huge, yeah. Let's arrange these by mass, maybe? What's this? Just launch plate. You can construct so much cool stuff. Static launch stand. A redstone. Ooh, what's the redstone? That's kind of cool looking. Are there things I can adjust? Like this length of the feeder thing here? Oh, pole visibility, so I can just turn that on and off, right? But I was hoping that I can change that umbilical pole height. We can make it a lot shorter. Short 4. That's pretty neat. I like that. I think I'm taking this thing. A pole height, pole position. So what does that do? Oh, it just rotates it to different spots. No, where it was fine. I like it because it's right between the two fins. The umbilical box. What's that? Oh. Long box, short box. I think the short box doesn't quite reach the rocket, so we're going with the long box for sure. Oh, you can even adjust There's even a fine. Oh, it's the, oh, there's that position too. Very cool. Okay, that's cool. Ground pipes. On and off. Pedal cover node. Do not see what that's changing. Then probably we want this lower. So that looks awesome. I love it. I love it. Okay. We can probably change colors and all that kind of thing. That's just turning the ground pipes on and off. I want the ground pipes. Select ground pipes. Oh, that's all that does. It just does the same thing. Okay. And honestly, I think I'm pretty much done. Oh, I can change some colors. Hold down bolts. Very subtle changes there. The bolts, I'm going to just take the bolts off because they're not even reaching where the rocket is. Oh, I can't do that. Oh, I see. There is a 1.25 meter tank option, so we'll grab that. And stand color. Oh, so there's some minor changes here. Yellow is a bad choice. Dark gray. I think that's what it started at. We'll keep it at that. And that was just yes. Just the same thing. Okay. I'm going with that. That's good. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. We do need that to spool up a little bit. All right. We'll play also with the spool up time. Nice. Let's install, and I'll probably cut this all out and just show you the final product, but I do want to play a little bit with KOS. So let's see what we got here. So I'm going to put this on, and I can decide what it is that you want. So let's just cut to the testing of that final product. Okay. Let's start this again. So engage MechJeb. Now run downrange. Okay. Nice. I love that. Oh, I do like that. That's cool. So passing control over to MechJeb. So yeah, that worked great. So KOS handled the countdown part, getting going, and then it passes control over to MechJeb, but KOS is still active. It's still running in the background, waiting for AlphaMensae to deal with the staging. I can also really easily deal with the staging with the smart part. I'll do that if this doesn't work. And that seemed to be working pretty good. All right. Our target AlphaMensae, it's now really pitching down, which is something I really like that MechJeb does. So we're really now cranking that downrange. Nice. And I got a heat bar here on the one fin, but the fin didn't blow up, which means it's fine. Absolutely fine. Okay. Of course, at this point, we've got absolutely no control. I might as well disengage the autopilot because MechJeb doesn't do anything for me anymore. We have 127 kilometers of apogee. There we are. We are now in space. Now, I did get a telemetry report there. Just want to check something. Where is the science thing? I wasn't paying enough attention. Oh, wait, it's up here, of course. This one. Science Archive. Where is a current vessel? There we go. Telemetry analysis. What's the report I just got? This gets a little funky. There we go. It did. It does. All that's automatically done for us. It's just a flying high. I might remove the telemetry report because... Oh, there goes that staging. So that worked great. And the auto... Okay, so that all worked great. So I might take the telemetry report out for the sole purpose that the sounding rocket can deal with all of that without an issue. The U-1250 can deal with that without an issue. In fact, by the time this thing flies, I'm sure that'll be done. And we still got 9 minutes of electricity. I'm sure it's going to be fine. Absolutely fine. I'm super happy. Okay, so why don't I give you a quick show of just what the program was that I wrote. And just for those people that happen to be interested. It is here. There we go. So... if we take a quick look here, the program is called down. Well, first of all, there is the boot files right here. And what I like about the boot file is that it reminds me of what settings to put MechJeb at. Even though it auto saves them, maybe I would have done something else in between. I don't know, whatever. And gives me the reminder to engage MechJeb. Don't be a dummy dum-dum. And then run downrange when you're ready. So the downrange program, you know, wait a couple of seconds, clear the screen, run the countdown. Now, this is a different countdown than what you saw last episode. If I go to my launch functions where all these reside, I have a simple countdown and I have a countdown. On the countdown, it takes a couple of parameters. The default, which is, you know, are you using MechJeb, true or false? Because there's something different it does there. The default is true. So if I don't put in anything, it will assume MechJeb is in play. And it also has a spool up time for the engine to spool up. So it won't release the rocket. I'll turn on the engine, wait 2.5 seconds before it releases the rocket. Again, that's the default. I can change that, but that's what it's set at. There is an auto detection for whether the mission should be scrubbed because the engine failed to ignite. Anyway, countdown 3, 2, 4, 1. That's the same as before. Lock the steering to up. That is a KOS control thing. Lock attitude control 2, 3. Little tone. If I don't have MechJeb, lock the throttle to 1 and say throttle to full. But if I do have MechJeb, it's going to skip that because MechJeb will have already put the throttle to full. That hopefully is just my, yeah, that was the booster. All's good. All's good. Fine. We'll keep going. Where was I? So then it's into here, play a tone, print ignition stage, that fires up the engine, and then wait the spool up time. This will screw up the countdown, but it's not that sophisticated, so there won't be 1 second per one, you know, that whatever. If the ship thrust to weight ratio is less than 1, it will print that. In other words, the engine just failed. It's not going to lift off the ground. And there's a function down here to calculate that, but I won't get to that part. It's just some simple math. It will say, you know, sub-nominal thrust detected. It'll scrub the launch, set scrub to true. And if scrub is set to true, then not scrub would be false, and it won't do the actual releasing of the rocket, which is the next part, you know, play a tone, stage again, that releases the rocket. Wait 2 seconds, and if MechJeb is in play, you need to unlock the steering from the command up here, because now MechJeb is going to take over the steering, and it's going to say passing control over to MechJeb. So that is what the new countdown does. Here, it's got locked throttle to 1 just in case. I think that's just a precaution. I think MechJeb will have already done that, but in case it doesn't, wait 10 seconds just to wait a period of time. And then I got this waiting for Apo function. This is actually the same function we saw in the last program. It is somewhere, where it is, waiting for Apo, which is simply waiting for the vertical speed to get to 0. So that, in other words, we're now starting to go down. We've passed our apogee, and that's it. Pinch the message to that, and then after it detects that it's gone to apogee, it stages, and that's what does the payload part. Yeah, I'm actually going to print just a couple more just make this a little nicer. Wait a second, and then print. I like these to be all uppercase. I'm just not having trouble. Oh, there goes our parachutes. Print. Deploying payload. Dot, dot, dot. Got to put a period at the end of all of these. Print a blank. And then, that's it. And then stage. Oh, wait a second. Actually, I don't need the blank then, do I? Because it's the last thing to do. Wait another second. There we go. Beautiful. Okay. That is going to be my program. I think it's good. Let's see here. Take that off, take that off, take that off. This is working super duper duckily. Happy days. So we're going to end our, go back to here, and now we just got to dress her up. Okay, so we just got to dress this up a little bit. So I don't think I can change the color of these parts. So I'm going to have to stick with, I think, a white or maybe even a white and a black motif. Or else this part up top will look funny. But let's see here. We got... I could go... You know, this might not be terrible here. Color our avionics, but I do kind of want to go with the white. Because I can't change the color of that, so that's the whole... Could go with just a good old-fashioned checkerboard. Maybe that's not terrible. Good old-fashioned checkerboard. Actually, what if we just painted this black? Just like this. Can we continue the stripes down here? And like I'll paint still stuff white. Like it'll be white, not the... I hope I'm making some sense. Where are... There we go. Can I Oh, me likey. Me likey. And then I think I'll just take this. And it's going to be, unless I can find something better, it might just be flat out black. Too much compression happening with the textures, I think, on this small part. Go with that. Again, everything that you see as metal is actually going to be white. We'll do that in just a bit. And there. Okay, so let's go into here. We got to get into our coloring GUI. And for the sides, we have to, on the main here, we have to pick white. And let's just the white, and not really white. I want to match the white that's here because I can't change that color. So hopefully it's not light gray. Oh, it might be more of a light gray. Beige white. No. Let's see. Stock white. Stock white really kind of looks like the right color, doesn't it? Stock light gray. Oh, actually, I think that's looking like a match, isn't it? A stock light gray color. It sure is. So that means I can take this guy and open its coloring GUI and change the sides to also the stock light gray. Actually, now that doesn't look quite right, does it? Looks like it's too dark. Maybe stock white was the right choice. Okay, stock white. We'll go stock white. Stock white, stock white. And then same down here. Bum, 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 bum. Coloring. Always, it's really easy to get the wrong. Yeah, I should close that each time. Okay, sides, stock white. And then down here, again, stock white there. And same thing with the fins. Now the fins work a little different on how the coloring works. Well, not really. There's no texture. I'm gonna again go with the leading edges being black. So we pick the leading edges, and I think it's a metallic black. This one. That matches that, and then we will go with everything else being again that stock white color. Trailing edge, stock white. There's a little bit you can see at the tip here. I'm not sure if you can see that, but oh, there's a secondary color, I think is what's happening. I think I just this one, stock white. I think I have to just turn all these to stock white until eventually this little tip becomes stock white. Really customize these colors. Stock white. Okay, I'm just gonna zoom in here. Does that look? No, it's still, there's a grayness right there. What's that gray color? Like, oh, right here. Stock white. Of course, the one I miss. Oh, there's still grayness right there. Right there, there's gray. There is gray. What could possibly... Okay, fine. I'm going to ignore it. I'm going to ignore it. I'm going to do my best to ignore it. I don't care. There we go. So there, we'll put some thingies on here. Aim our rocket. It's going to be... Are the black stripes... maybe put it on the black stripe. Maybe. Play around. We can make it maybe white and then, you know, set the text. So this is going to be V2. Number... I'm just gonna... Oh, that looks funny. Maybe it's just V2 is the right way to go. I have cap lock on it. V2. Okay. Change the color. Okay, set the text. We've got to make it vertical, which is that one. But I need the color change. So that's not here. Ah, there we go. Okay, yeah, that's good. Yeah, so color's just white. Actually, it probably should be a little grayer now that I'm thinking about it, because it's like this silly stock white that's not even really white. Like that. Change the font. I'm not sure how good this is going to look. I might be better off putting something up on that great big space up there. Got the NASA letters. We'll just good old USAF, like, and we'll make it bigger. Which is scaling that up. I'm not sure I'm a big fan yet. Got too many windows open, I think, is one of my problems. For whatever reason, it's a little bit off to the side. I can increase the spacing between the number and the letter. Which I think is this now. No, it's not. There we go. I think we'll just go with this. It's okay. Let's turn the that off because I can see I'm not quite in the center there. Whoops. There. Same thing on the other side. We'll live with it. It's okay. It's okay. V2. Okay. So for this thing to fly, though, it needs to have a whole new launch complex, because what are we at? 15.2 tons. So we're going to have to create a second launch complex. Some people might go, why don't you modify the first launch complex, because then it won't be able to launch the smaller, less than 1 ton rockets, which I still want to do. So we're going to go new launch complex, launch cloud. I'm going to call this the V2 complex for now, because I'll lose track of which one was 2 and which one was 1. Maximum tonnage is set to 17. That's okay. You can upgrade them later. I think I'm just going to go this. Assign free engineers when complete. And this complex is going to take 90 days just to build the complex, let alone, you know, get the rocket starting to build. So it's going to be a while before we see this rocket start to build. So we're just going to get this complex started. And that should now be into here. If I go to the combined here, we're reconditioning the launch complex from last time's launch. We're building a new U-1250 sounding rocket. That's going to be due in end of April. There's our new launch complex. This is our tracking systems. Okay, so let's get out of here and let's go and do some base management stuff. Okay, so we got to do some base management stuff. So first of all, we do have 10 new applicants, okay? I am going to, I can have a maximum of 10 in launch complex number 1, which is pushing out the U-1250. Let's hire, so I'm able to hire 3 more engineers. I got 3 engineers in there now. So I'm gonna hire 3 engineers, 1, 2, 3. We're gonna assign those to launch complex 1. That still leaves me with 7 more hires. The only place they have to work is as researchers, but I think that's probably a good place for them anyway. So we're going to hire all of them as researchers. That has brought early tracking systems now to February 19th of next year. We'll still keep going. I have 21 researchers and 10 engineers. I think that's a good proportion to keep them kind of 2 to 1 like that. So that is cool. Now what I also want to take a look at is my budget screen, because I might hire more researchers. So if I take a look, gotta be a little careful because I don't want to overextend myself, but it's the RP1 button here. There we go. In our budget screen. So this shows our total budget. So we're, for, you know, everything in brackets is what you're spending. Let's take a look at the daily budget. Yeah. So, you know, we're spending 36.5 bucks a day on our facilities. The integration teams, those are, I believe, our engineers. We're spending that much. On our research team, we're spending that much. We don't have any astronauts. Our subsidies, Yes, our subsidies come from our reputation. The higher your reputation, the higher the subsidy, I believe is how that works. So we're receiving money from that. Our net after the subsidy, we're in the negatives. We got some other costs going on. Oh, we're building a new launch complex, so that's 128.6 Kerbucks there every day. Then we're receiving every day from our program budget 124.7 Kerbucks. That's the program budget that we selected at the beginning of last one. So that gives us a balance in the negatives. Okay, so, and then we got an unlock credit, which I'm not sure. That's a positive, but our balance is a negative. So I think I should probably calm myself down a little bit. Oh, the unlock credit is for unlocking new parts. So I think I got to be a little careful here. We are running a deficit budget. So I was thinking of hiring more researchers, but I think that's a bad idea. So what we're going to do is close this, and we're going to go into the administrative building because we got ourselves some leaders to deal with. So here are leaders. You have these positions of leadership within administration, and we can now pick ourselves an administrative leader. These are all obviously historical figures, and so we got to pick who we want to head our space program. So we have Vladimir Chelon. I'm going to really mess up the Russian names. I'm very, very sorry. But you can read a little bit of their history. But really what you're looking at is the effects that they have. And I kind of, some of these are good. So, for instance, he hired Khrushchev's son. So we have a minus 15% confidence cost for program activation. We have plus 5% speed of launch complex efficiency gain, so he can build more quickly. I guess this is a good thing then. Minus 15% on the okay, so it costs less confidence to act, but I'm not going to be activating any programs anytime soon. No support after Khrushchev, so minus 7% reputation from contracts. I think I don't like that because I think I like getting reputation because that gets me more money, and I do want more money. So we do have Valentin Klushko, who plus 10% reputation to remove an existing. So if you fire somebody, you get higher reputation. Plus 5% reputation from contracts. I like that. Minus 15% fund costs for researcher salaries. So he's going to cut people's salaries, but that's not bad. So this one will make money a little better. Sergei Korolev minus also cuts people's salaries. Plus 5% reputation from contracts. Do like that. Minus 5% funds from program funding. So he's going to cut your funding. That's not good. I think Valentin Klushko is winning so far. Oh, now we're into the Americans. Milton Rosen, 10% speed boost on researching technologies, plus 10% confidence from science. Okay. I don't know if I need the confidence. That's the thing. Minus 20% time from program deadlines. Oh, program deadlines time gets reduced. Okay. And minus 20% program funds. Tight deadlines. No, so he cuts your program funds. I don't like that. Werner von Braun. More confidence from contracts, more reputation from contracts, plus 10% reputation loss from reputation decay. Oh yes, your reputation does go down slowly over time. So that makes it go quicker. And it just you can't just sit around and do nothing and sit on your reputation. It will, if you do nothing, your reputation slowly goes down. So you got to keep doing stuff. That's what this is saying. And doing stuff that means something. So this will increase the rate. Okay. And then we have, this is an Indian mathematician, aerospace engineer, Dr. Satish Dhawan. Was third chairman of ISR. Okay, so India. Oh, interesting. Anyway, yeah, Indian Institute of Science. All right, what do we got? Plus 15% science from transmission. Minus 15% reputation loss from reputation decay. So that's a good thing. Reputation decays less quickly. Minus 8% for program fund. I don't like that. I want money. I think my money guy is Valentin. Because I'm going to cut my research salaries, which is, again, remember, about 2/3 of my staff. I'm going to cut their salaries by 15%, so screw you guys. But I'm going to get more reputation from contracts, which will get me more of those subsidies. And plus 10 reputation to remove an exam. I don't think, well, we'll see. If I fire somebody, I even get more reputation. I think I'm going to go with Valentin. Valentin Klushko. Valentin Klushko is my leader. There we go. And then obviously as you progress through the game, you get other agencies and leaders involved as well. Okay, so far we have not advanced a day. I do want to take a look at... I do have another U-1250 sounding rocket going, but what I want to play with, I want to play with it a little bit. So let's open up our U-1250 sounding rocket. There we go. Okay. So this is the one that flew yesterday. A couple of things I didn't quite like about it. It did kind of lean over to one side. So I could improve the, I don't know, I might not, but what I could do, and I'm just going to experiment with this, is I do have some boosters. And this was a thing we have, the Tiny Tim booster. I think I only have that. Oh, I do have the R103 booster, which is itsy bitsy weensy little guy like that. I could radially put a few of those on there, but let's start with, hardly adds much weight. How much oomph does this have? 11 kilonewtons, well, 10 on the surface, because it's going to be, this thing packs a punch, the Tiny Tim booster. And this is what you do with the Aerobee. I did this last time. And what I just want to make sure is that this will work. So I need a decoupler, probably this hollow interstage, because we're going to have to do some hot staging. And we're going to bring this diameter down. So it matches that. I think that'll do. And we got a booster, and then we have to... I thought, oh no, the timer's on here. Okay, let's... Oh my gosh, I cannot get this under here. Get there. Okay. I got a feeling the booster will go right away. That's that. I'm going to try launching the booster in that at the same time. I'm going to take this timer. This timer was just to deal with the spool up of the motor. Okay, it's kind of sitting in there funny, but we'll fix that in a little bit. And what I want to do is start that... No. When... Let's get another smart part. The key is that this engine has to start before this booster is done. Or else, because this needs ullage, is really what this is. And I do have the DrainX smart part. And the DrainX smart part detects resources. So if the amount of resources in this SRB, which is NGNC, gets down to 0%, it's going to activate a stage. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to, because it never will get down to 0%, so I'm going to stage at 10%. So when this gets to 10%, it's going to stage. That's going to turn on the engine, activate this timer, and after this timer goes, I think it's only 1/10 of a second, it is, then it will stage the next one. Let's see how this works. I'm just trying to get a little bit more altitude out of this thing, is really what this is about. So let's simulate. I'm not even sure if I'm going to save this yet. We'll see how this works. See how this works. Because I do have some other contracts to do with that, including carrying some sounding payloads and things like that. And I think I might need a little bit more oomph-itude. So I'm going to ignore KOS for now. We're going to simply activate our engine, and we're simply should be able to just hit our space bar, and hopefully this will all work. Yeah, that's the idea. That's the idea. I think the 10% was a little bit too low. Well, let's restart this. Or a little bit too high. Revert to restart simulation. So it worked. That worked, but the booster was still going when it released the motor. Released the next stage. And I mean, this is a low-cost way to just get higher, isn't it? So I want to check this. Let's put it down to 8%. There we go. And again, close that. Z and go. That worked well. Might even still a little bit of a push. You can see how it gave it some wobblies. But I'm hoping this can go quite a bit higher. Before we were tapping out around 110 kilometers. I'm really curious just how high I can get this fella. Oh, bit of an explosion down there. Hopefully nothing got busted. It still is going a bit to the side. A little bit. I mean, it's not bad. But maybe making these tail fins a little bigger might not be a bad thing. How much altitude am I going to get? I mean, it's better. Quite a bit better. 136. Let's revert. Restart the simulation again. What I can do is simply edit the one that's being built right now and incorporate in all these ideas, which is not, I think, a bad one. Just want to, was at 8%. Now let's put it at 5%. See if, like, let's do it till it breaks, right? So just stage. Oh, that was lovely. That was like perfect. That was perfect. Okay, I'm going to experiment with reverting to the editor. Let's do some fixing upping here. So I'm going to revert this to, that was 5%, I think was just great. You can get some indication of failure rates, by the way, if you middle click on this. I think it's okay. I've had things where it has too much thrust down here. And, okay, I'm going to put on a new one of those. And that causes the engine to fail. Maybe I should run this without... Sorry, run this with failures turned on. I want this guy. We're going to make a new one. Because I just don't like the angle this is on. And we're changing this to 1/10 of a second in staging. I think that's the same as this. That's right. Now we're going to throw that away. And this is now here. Yep. Okay. And if you don't like, you know, the look of these smart parts, they have almost no weight. And because, like, what are they? Here we go. They are 1/10 of a kilogram, right? 100 grams? I think I'm reading that right. So they're very, very light, and if you don't like the look, and they are dragless, but if you really dislike the kind of whole, you can kind of just do this. You know, I guess it's a personal thing whether you want to do that or not, if you consider that, but that, you know, cleans up the look of all that a little bit. I think what I may just do, let's take a look at these. The strength multiplier I'll leave alone, but what I'm thinking about is just making the handles off. Just a little longer. Just to try and make this thing fly a smidge straighter. Maybe a little bit wider at the root. Just like that. Give them a little bit more surface area. Of course, that is also increasing the weight of the rocket a little bit, but should be, I think, okay. Okay, I'm gonna actually start saving this. This is the this, but with the Tiny Tim booster. Save that. Okay, we're gonna do another simulate. Oh, I've gone over the weight limit by 32 kilograms. So flying this, I didn't pay attention to when that happened. If I do some control Zetting. Shoot. Okay. Okay, we have to do a launch complex modification. So I think what I'm gonna do, because we do have one being, okay, I got an idea. I got an idea. Unfortunately, I hit Control Z there a little bit, so that just redo what we just did. If this flies well, I think I'm gonna save it. I think I'll leave the Tiny Tim that's being built as is. And I'm going to save this one. We're going to simulate it. We're going to save it. I'm going to build the one that's being built. And I'll see if there's a contract that it can handle. But then I'll have to do a minor launch complex upgrade. Because it's just a little bit too... Oh, and I increased the length, too, by 1 meter because of that. So this thing's done a few things. Okay. So what we'll do... Save this and simulate it one more time. But this time I'm going to simulate it with... part failure enabled. I'm going to try the launch program. I got me a feeling the same launch program is going to work. So let's actually do these instructions, see what it does. Run basic sounding. That worked lovely. Oh, we got a failure. We did get an engine failure. Okay, now was that a normal engine failure? Failed engine shutdown. Just I think that's just a... Oh, we're gonna blow up. Okay, restart the simulation. Let's do that again. If that happens every single time, I got a problem. Because I think all of that thrust from that Tiny Tim, which I don't have the ability to dial down, can cause the engine to fail. And it might just have to be something I got to put up with. Let's try this again. So run basic sounding. It's igniting. The fact that it's igniting is a good sign. So that might have been just a dumb failure. I think it was just a dumb failure. Okay, let's see if this guy flies a little bit straighter. I might still modify the tail fins of the one that's being built. That's, of course, that thing hitting the ground. I think it's flying straighter. I think that's a good... I think making these tail fins just a smidge longer is a good idea. Definitely. Way straighter. Way straighter. Should have done that last time. Alright, we just topped 140, 150, over 150. Okay, I'm really happy with this. So let's revert to the editor. Okay, got plans. We're going to save this. I actually also noticed my V2... this guy. I told myself I was going to turn off the telemetry, and then I never did. Fortunately, you can't remove the telemetry, so I'm not sure what purpose that serves doing that. And also just noticing how white this is. Can I turn down the whiteness just a little bit? Oh, it's still full white. How's that? Much better. Much better. Okay, save. Save that. Okay, we're gonna have to exit out of here. We're going to look at contracts. Is there another contract I can do? Is the question. Why do I have nothing? Oh, because I got the film return selected. So let's just turn that off for a second. Okay, here we go. Reach the orbital trajectory uncrewed. So I gotta hit at least 100 kilometers. I believe that's what that means. Oh, wait a second. Send the rocket out of the atmosphere 140 kilometers. Okay, that isn't capable. And then return it home. That might have to be something for the other fella. Downrange milestones not achievable. I do have this guy to take 500 units of sounding payload and reach 150 kilometers. I don't think I can do that either. I think that's a job for the V2. Shoot. Okay, so I gotta get to 140 kilometers and recover the rocket. I can't do that. Then I got low space, biological, altitude, sounding rocket, intermediate. Reach 80 kilometers with 75 units of sounding payload. This might be doable. And then the difficult one is to reach 130 kilometers. I'm thinking of what I can do with the U-1250 without... This is doable, I think. So I got to put 75 units of sounding payload. Do I have to recover it? Uncrewed, sounding payload. I do not see an option, so I just got to get 75 units of sounding payload up to 80 kilometers. Let's accept this fella. Notice how the rest of them go away, but that's okay. All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to go into here. We're going to grab our basic sounding rocket, which is currently being built. And we're going to put on those 75 units of sounding payload. So we're going to tuck that right under here. This might put it over the top lengthwise too. Which is really going to stink, isn't it? So I got to put in a procedural tank. The diameter of said tank has to be 370 millimeters to match everything else. And instead of filling the tank for the engine, we want to go to the tank UI where you can put in whatever you want. And down towards the bottom, this is, I think, really hidden. Oh, it's not towards the bottom, but down towards here, there is sounding payload somewhere. Maybe it's alphabetical? No, these are all fueled. Oh, am I missing something? Where's the sounding payload? Choose tank type. Oh, this is, yeah. This is steel fuselage. Not needs to be high pressure, no. Okay, I'm sure that's how you got the sounding payload. Tank UI. I'm just missing it. Water, tungsten. Alright, it's not here. Let's open up the contracts. Let's see. Does it give me any kind of an indication of where to find said sounding payload? Have a sounding payload of at least 75. It's none of this. No. 75 units of sounding payload. Oh, I could have sworn. I know someone watching this video right now is just screaming at me. Screaming at me. I might have to do a Google. Going through this now, what, the 4th time? Okay, let's do a Google. Let's do a Google. Google's my friend. RP1 sounding payload. Where? Service module tank. Oh my gosh. I don't think I have the right kind of tanks for the sounding payloads yet. Has to be a service module tank. Ah, that's my problem. It's not a tank. Okay. So I'm just gonna have to launch that puppy. Oh, this is embarrassing. Okay. Okay, don't save this. Shoot! Shoot, dash, ding, dong. You gotta get service modules. So there's no, I don't think I have a contract I can do with this new rocket. So I'm just gonna go up and collect science. So going up and collecting science, I'm just gonna look in here and see where that service module is. Oh, I do have science I can unlock, so. Okay, something here. Service module. This is the starting parts, and I see it being highlighted. Like, there's no way I'm way up in here. That would be ridiculous. Just get the word service. Procedural service tank or something like that. Oh, maybe it needs to be... Okay, wait. I'm looking at what I Googled. Saying I saw the service module tank, but it also can be a high pressure tank? Things are really hidden. Sorry, let's get back to my procedural tanks. Got to be high pressure. If I take this, change it to high pressure. And then get into the tank UI? Oh, it wants to fill it with, I understand. Yeah, with the sounding payload. So it has to be a high pressure tank. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's very annoying. So right now I have 441 units of sounding payload. So it has to be a high pressure tank. That is not at all hidden. No, not at all. Okay, I got to change the diameter to 370. That's the length. There. And again, open up the... Does it say anywhere here how many units of sounding payload? Oh, there it is. I got 32.3 units of sounding payload, so we'll start increasing the length of this. I got a feeling it's going to be too long for my thingy anyway. What did it say? 75 units. So it's going to be 900 millimeters. Oh, it's not too long. It's under the length. Barely. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Okay, so this has now got 75 units of sounding payload in it. Had to be high pressure. Oh my golly. So it's going to go sticking right under there. We'll play with textures later. I also wanted to increase the fins here, right? So J. Length went up a couple clicks, and the root thickness at the root. No. Width of the root. There we go. Oh my golly. Okay. We're gonna test this, see if it can do this contract. So, let's just simulate. We won't enable part failures. I'm confident with my motor. I am confident with my motor. All right, run basic sounding. Let's see what happens. Oh, I got all kinds of... Go away. I don't know where... Okay. Put you away. As I was typing stuff. Run basic sounding. Real solar system parameters. Let's see if I can get rid of that. That's off. And what we got to do is achieve 80 kilometers. Oh my gosh. I don't know what I hit to make that come on. We're just going to tuck it away and ignore it. Yep, we are. So we got to reach 80 kilometers. We have a contract. Yep. If I hit 80 kilometers on my... Oh, it is leaning over. She's a little bit... my increasing the tail fins just didn't quite do it enough. My mouse is misbehaving. My mouse has somehow got... Oh my gosh. Okay, it is leaning over a lot more than it did before. I don't like that. I increased the size of these. Why would it do that? Just more weight at the top? Maybe. Maybe. Ah, so we're going to have to make those fins a lot bigger. We'll see if it gets to 80 anyway. It might. Turned out making the fins bigger didn't really help at all. Nor did putting the fins on a bit of an angle for some gyro stabilizing. 4 fins also didn't make a difference, nor did changing up the launch stance. Turned out that increasing the spool up time to 0.5 seconds on the smart part finally did help, but it didn't end up making the necessary 80-kilometer altitude anyway. No, it's not making altitude. Frick. I think my better plan... Yeah. I think my better plan is to wait until I've updated... Okay, let's do some launches. I think my better plan is to wait. So what I'm going to do... The whole half second, I think, did work better. Let's open up... Without the Tiny Tim. I think I'm going to need to put the Tiny Tim on it. I really do. So I'm going to lose that. We're going to lose the sounding payload. It was a fun experiment, but it just didn't really cut the mustard. What I am going to do, though, is increase this to half a second. Save that. We'll just do it just for science, no contract. What is going on here? Is it well integrated? There it is. It's about 1% built. So what we'll do is we'll leave this. Let's get out. I'm going to modify it simply by putting in that extra half a second. And we're just going to fly it just to collect science. So we're going to go into here. We're going to get, go to construction, integration, sorry. We're going to take this and we're going to edit it. We're simply going to take this and put it up to a half a second, like so. I'm going to save that as the new U2 1250 sounding rocket, or U2 1250 sounding rocket. We're going to... Oh, I wanted to add that to the plan, so I saved it here. Save the edits. Can I add it to the plans? Yeah, you can add the plans from here. So if here's the plans, take out the old one. Yes. And then go to here and add that as a new plan. Add the plans. There we go. Okay, everything's good. Well, we'll see. All right, so looking at the combined, we'll have this done on April the 14th or 17th. And then what we'll do is we'll update. Yeah, so let's do that. We will roll. Where's our integration here? We will grab you. This is now built. No, it's not. What happened? I lost track of what. Oh, that was just rolling it back. I'm such a dope. I was still recovering from the old launch pad, doughhead. Okay. Oh. I got science, for goodness sakes. I can't do it yet, but I should really... What do we want to do? So we got a procedural service module. That's what I was looking for. I'm not even going to talk about it. And really, that's it. Conventional, structural... tank upgrade. So this will upgrade our tanks to aluminum. So we'll get aluminum tanks. That costs 2. We can get... I'm not going to get into boosters. We haven't even used the Tiny Tim yet. We do have motor upgrades. That costs just 1. And then we got plain stuff, which I don't care about. So what we're going to do... Let's... Oh, I got 3. Okay, let's do... this one and the motor upgrades. This one's the motor upgrades. Okay, and we're going to exit back out of here. So these guys aren't going to happen for a while yet. If I look at research, you can change the priority a little bit. Maybe the post-war rocketry is a good one to put. I don't know. I've never figured out what the green... catching up with the competition. Research rate 0.10, but if I go this way around... Oh, I understand what's going on. Yeah. Okay, never mind. It's all good. Let's go back to here and do that. So, no more talking, more building. Okay, so there is my U-1250 sounding rocket. We're going to roll it out. That's going to take that, and we'll fly it. So this is unmodified. This is simply going to be for science. I have no contracts I can do or anything like that. Let's warp to... No, then let's... No, let's launch it now. I was wondering if I should start upgrading the launch complex for with the Tiny Tim, and then realized... I didn't know if I could launch or not while the complex was being upgraded. So we're going to launch at night. I hope people don't mind. Okay, I can... hopefully increase the brightness here a bit. We'll see how it looks. Very, very black. So no contracts, no nothing. This is purely for science. We're going to just run our basic sounding program. We are on April the 20th. Middle of the night. Middle of the night launch. For science. Why is my RCS on? No sounding payload, no nothing, no contracts. This is really just identical to the last one. It should hopefully cross the Kármán line because it did do that last time. We are going through some clouds. Gotta work on this spinning thing, or stability thing. I think the Tiny Tim helps with the stability issue. Did not cross the Kármán line this time, but we got an engine failure. The engine, what happened here? There's some sort of performance loss. Well, it says here it's almost got no fuel left anyway, so, but it's a failure, not a ran out of fuel situation. I don't care. We're just gonna, we'll just time warp this through. There we go. Now you can see at least its silhouette. It's going backwards over the state of Florida, falling towards the west. Oh, we are done our telemetry analysis flying high. And I believe that is not, if I am not mistaken, if we go to current vessel telemetry analysis here, I believe that is not biome specific, so I have no more telemetry until I can get above 140 kilometers. It was not flying high over anything. Okay, this is going to go down. We got 1.8 science, which is not nothing. 1.9, are we going to crack 2? We cracked 2 science. Crack 2 science. But she's going to blow up. Warp sequence and... Okay. That's all right. That is all right. Okay, reverting. No, we did revert flight. We're going back to spaceplane hangar. Spacing, and we're gonna. I should have built this thing with the Tiny Tim to start with. So we're gonna go into here. Hang on a second. Open up. Sounding rocket with the Tiny Tim. And we need to upgrade the launch complex. So we're going to modify our launch complex. We're now going up to 2 tons. Minimum tonnage is now 1 ton. So we have to stay above 1 ton. This is just barely above 1 ton. We have a 10-meter height limit. I'm going to stick with that. And then I think I'm just going to be launching these things from now on. So I can't launch... it's this or the other. I can't do both. So this is going to take 15 days. So yeah, let's do that. That's very frustrating. Oh yes, so all my engineers now have nothing to do. Okay, and then we're going to also, while I'm at this, add this to the plans. Oh yes, we have to unlock some parts and we have to do tooling. Okay, let's do that. Acknowledge. I know that. That's just telling me it won't work in this current launch complex. How is my tooling situation? I don't think I have any tooling to do. Oh, I do for the, is that, oh no, there's no tooling. Everything's tooled. Of course everything's tooled. I didn't change anything else. Yep, we're good. Okay, let's decide what contract this thing's gonna do. Okay, so I could maybe do that, and that gets me some reputation, which will help with my budget. So that's not a terrible idea. You can't do anything else in this zone. There is this downrange one. Oh, no, that's for the V2. Reach suborbital trajectory and return. So that's get to 140. It can't get to 140. So I'm doing this one. Wow. Yeah, I can't get to 140 and return. The V2 might be able to do that, but this thing can't. So what we're gonna do, yeah, we're gonna do this intermediate altitude sounding rocket, get to 8, the same we were doing before. So we're gonna build that. We're gonna get into here. And we're going to add 75 units of sounding payload to this, and we're going to test it. Oh, this is getting so. Got to take that out. Should be able to do this a lot quicker. This has to be high pressure steel. Has to have a diameter of 370. And it needs to have open tank UI. Cancel that one. Sounding payload. There we go. It now has 65 units, so it needs to be a little longer. Exactly 75 units of sounding payload. There we go. Okay, this can go on the bottom. Put some stripies on it. Marvelous. Okay. So that is my 75 units of sounding payload aboard that, and we're gonna give this a simulation. We're gonna give it a test. We're gonna save this. Simulate and make sure this stinker works. It's got to be able to get to 80 kilometers. It has to. Okay, run basic sounding. I am not sounding right. Okay. Sorry again for nighttime, but I actually... do have the new, yeah, it's being renovated. I guess I can't build this anyway. I could have, yeah, I could have. I didn't have to wait because I couldn't get this thing integrating anyway. I could have gone to daytime. Okay, it's just got to get to 80 kilometers. With its 75 units of sounding payload. It does have a board. Time warp time. Come on. All right, 80, 90, 100. So well clearing it. Tapped out about 100. I'm calling it. I think it's going to be fine. So we are going to revert back to the editor. We're going to save this. Exit. Let's take a quick look at the advanced version of that contract, make sure it wasn't something that it is actually capable of doing. It's down here. This guy. Or the difficult one. This was 75 units to 130. You can't do that. Okay, so we're good. Okay, so let Launch Complex 1 is being renovated. That'll get us to May. Now I can go into here. This is again, and we're going to actually do some tooling. Yeah, let's tool that procedural tank because it's good for 75 units of sounding payload. I got a feeling I'll be doing that again, so we will tool. Yeah, purchase all toolings, and we will build this sucker. Yes'm. Has been added to our integration queue. So if I go to here, let's get to it. It's going to be done in June 9th. Actually, my V2 complex is going to be done shortly after that. So, cool beans. And just for shites and giggles, we'll go to plans. We'll add another one with a Tiny Tim booster on it, so that it'll get started on the other one. My engineers are back in here, I'm assuming, right? I'll go to engineers. Yeah, they're all back in there. So they're all working still. Okay. And how's my budget doing? How is my budget doing? My monthly budget still running a deficit, right? So if I time warp, I'm seeing this number go down. Am I right in that? Am I reading everything right? No, it is going down. Not by much though. Got a little better. Okay. Roll this guy out. Warp to complete that. Very small deficit I'm running. And let's launch. We got a nice day in June. Let's do it. Recover, flight, and proceed. What's out there? Oh, debris. Yeah, okay. That's the launch stool. Okay, so here is our rocket, all looking all black. I think I might be better off. I don't know. Okay, let's just run it. So we do have a contract. Let's get that going. We do have more science to do. Contract window here. Okay, it's not going to hit any of these altitude records, but if I can get this to 80 kilometers, it will do this, and that will get me 17 reputation. Nice. Hopefully, we will have ignition here. All right. All right, all right, all right. It is so dark. It's a very cloudy day again. Not too cloudy, partially cloudy. We'll call it partially cloudy. There we go. Now we can see it better. Okay, we just got to get to 80 kilometers. And that will be good. Again, more science. More science as well. We can check here. We actually do not have a whole lot of science still to get, I don't think. So again, notice all the landed stuff is already gone. So it's flying high is only there. It's 80% of it has been collected of the pressure scan, temperature scan. Scroll all the way down to flying high. Got a little bit over the ocean, so I might start. We're 90% done through the tropics, so what I might just start doing, seeing if I can angle this out towards the oceans a little bit. We're going straight into the sun, that's why it's such a silhouette. So maybe the next one we'll try and see if we can do a little bit of angling with it. But for now, we're well over, there we go, 105 kilometers with our 70 units of sounding payload aboard. So as soon as we crack 80, this puppy is going to be done. And 0.1 science. We might finish off all of the temperature and pressure science too. So we can look at that with the data, can't we? An auto. Here we go. Telemetry is done. Temperature? No, it's still... Oh, gosh. What are we over? High over the oceans? Really? Okay. Okay, we're getting ocean stuff. Interesting. Pressure scan's just flying high. It's still got 2 minutes of science collecting to do. Don't know if it'll get done, but in the meantime, this contract just got completed. Excellent. Okay, we got a little notification to that effect. Congratulations on a successful launch. The rocket has delivered the payload. 17 reputation and 80 confidence for that. So that will help, I think, with my budgeting. I'm hoping. Still like I've got a little bit less of a deficit, but it's still there. Still there. Okay, we are just about at apogee. Just going to go into space for just a little bit. I think we might get all the pressure scanning done. Now we're over the tropics. Okay, so it's a bit of a mix it's getting here. So it must be as it drifts just a little bit towards the west, we drift into the tropics. But we'll see about... Well, it depends if I get all the tropics on this one. I might. I think I'm going to get all the pressure scanning. In which case, it might be time to remove that experiment, save a little bit more weight. Okay, we are now on our way back down. We are getting all the pressure scanning done. A little bit of time more. Oh, there we go. That's all of the pressure scan done. Temperature's got 1 minute and 15 seconds left. Once this hits 40 kilometers, though, we are no longer collecting anything. So we'll see if we get the pressure scanning done or not. I don't think she's going to make it. So we'll do another one of these and finish off those temperature scans. I might as well take the barometer out of it because it is done. But yeah, there's still 30 seconds left. Didn't quite get it all. Anyway, this guy should blow itself up once we're below 30. There we go. Boom. Okay, that is a success. Maybe not super exciting, but a success nonetheless. Let us push the right button. Back to the Space Center. And we're going to grab this rocket that's already being integrated, the next U-1250. We're going to do a little bit of editing because we configure the science. We can turn the telemetry off because there's no more telemetry to get until we get over 140 kilometers, which is not going to happen for just yet. I think I'm going to need the V2 for that. And we also are going to configure our science. There it is. Configure the experiments. We're going to remove the barometer. The barometer does have some weight. There's 100 grams of weight that can be saved by just taking that barometer out. So that is good there. And then we will save these edits. And we'll see what's we got coming up. So that is that. Second U-1250 is going to be done in July 12th. That's about a month from now. But our V2 launch complex will be done in June, and then we'll get started with building that V2. I got to hire some more engineers to get into that complex. I'll have to figure out how the budget is all going to have to work. But you know, that's all going to have to be for the next episode. So I hope that you enjoyed this episode. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you all next time. Bye, everybody.